Hey, everybody. We are coming to you live from the campaign headquarters for the Kenton County Democrats at the Kenton County Fair in Independence. And today we have Ben Bach with us. Going to talk to us a little bit about the SRI and South Kenton. Thanks for joining. I'm Natalie McDonald.
And I'm Brian Cale. Welcome to the Kenton County Fair.
We are.
All I need is a corn dog and a beer, and we're off and rolling. But before we get to that, let's talk to our old buddy Ben about some of the topics that are hot in Kenton County. And I think one of the first ones we want to talk about for sure is, Site Readiness Initiative, SRI, a big topic that Ben has done a lot of study on, a lot of research, and knows a lot about.
Yeah. My name is Ben Bach. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here and talk and spread the good news. So I've been involved with the South Kenton Citizens Group for a little over 2 years now, I think. The SRI is what pulled me into this. And it was an initiative started over 2 years ago by BNKY, Northern Kentucky Port Authority, Kenton County Fiscal Court, and some other players to isolate and prepare, rezone, develop Central and South Kenton County, to put things in motion. And not everyone likes that idea because it was not done in a way that listened to the community. There's been a long South Kenton Citizens Group, and it has been in existence for over a decade, several decades almost, I think now. And they've had lots of good working relationships with planning and zoning and the fiscal court, saying, okay, this is our farmland. How do we zone and develop to preserve the rural character, help our farmers, while also preserving economic development and having a balance? 2024, these initiatives came in and they just ignored all of that. They did a big announcement, had a big meeting in February of 25, and tons of crowds. They had a Piner. They had to close down. They had to escort people out. There were so many people pushing back on it. Wow. out of the school. But they held these so that they didn't have to be official on the record. They want people to have all the fiscal court present so no one could be held accountable for anything. And so the South Kenton Citizens Group has been meeting, championing. I've been an active member in their leadership piece before getting involved with all of this and running for office and things. Since I announced running for office, I excused myself from that leadership position because it is a citizens ran, grassroots. What you want is good government. It is the community speaking out and mobilizing themselves to champion their issue. And I didn't want to clutter that with any kind of like, well, he's a Democrat or she's a Democrat or they're not.
Right.
It's about the issue and about helping the farmers.
It's a nonpartisan issue.
It is 100%.
And in full disclosure, you are running for Kenton County Commissioner in District 3, and we're going to have you on 2. You're
1, 2, 3.
3.
That always confuses me because it should be 1, 2, 3.
And there's a quick fit. So it's a county race. The only piece that the district matters is the person who's running. Do they live in that area? Everyone in the entire county votes on it. I think it's a bad misnomer. They should call it the district seat or the county commissioner seat 1, county commissioner seat 2, and get rid of that district stuff because people just get confused by that so easily.
You're like, I can't vote outside of my district. You're right.
Yeah, no, my district is Kenton County. And that's why, like, for myself, I've grew up in South part of Kenton County my whole life, worked on dairy farms, cattle farms, thoroughbred farms. I'm the last person in my family to work tobacco. But I went to school in Covington. I went to college at Thomas More. I've traveled. I've always lived in Kenton County, and I feel like I have a foot firmly in the north. I can understand that. I have my foot in the south. I understand the 275 divide on what is a different county, but my heart is definitely in the south part, and I can understand that. And they are two sides of the same coin. What benefits one doesn't have to exclude the other, and it's a false dichotomy that I think our leadership in the county government have had of, well, either you have to sell your farm to developers or you're never going to get anything for it. And that is so far from the truth. There's a whole different world that they could be presenting out there of if the same effort that the BNKY put to put factories and warehouses on top of farmland that you're never going to get back, if that same effort was put into energizing the agricultural and farming communities here, it'd be a completely different story. The farming communities, the economic development from them, it's slower, but it's more robust. They're consumers before producers. They're those profits, those incomes, they stay in the community. They slowly build out warehouses. It goes to California, it goes to New York City, wherever the private equity is that's buying up the land, and it doesn't feed back into the county anymore. Like it doesn't help. And I'm all for stronger communities and doing things to support that. And like the South Kenton Citizens Group, they're four booths down. So if you're seeing this while the county's going on, come down, talk to Suzanne. She'll be here every night. They're all fired up. Come talk to them. They got great information. Yeah.
I had a question because the South Kenton Citizens Group, I did some research and I look back as far as, and this is, SRI has been like around
Just
for
the
a
recent-
long time.
Yeah.
But in 2020, I think there was a letter that went out to the judge executive, and I saw some feedback where it seemed like they were engaging the citizens group, and it was going to be kind of like residents and constituents were going to have some say, but it seems like that shifted then just recently over the last couple of years.
Yeah, in around 2016, I think it was, South Kenton Citizens Group with the County Extension Office and UK did their own survey to collect information. They like to provide tools to have conversations with leadership in the county about what do we want, what could work, what's not going to work. And the fiscal court has hijacked that and misrepresented it and passed it off as if the fiscal court is leading this. The fiscal court is saying, well, they want industrialization here and they say we can do it here. Like, that's not what that question was. The question organizer of that survey, Dr. Laurie from UK, wonderful professor, retired, super still active down around Lexington, Georgetown area. She even wrote a letter to the fiscal court saying, you are misrepresenting what this survey was to suit your own purposes. And that is just typical what we're seeing out of this fiscal court of misrepresentation to curtail whatever the message that they want to do of development, outside extractive forces coming in and ignoring the communities. Because what we're seeing in South Kenton can be seen in Covington. All the development and all, we don't have to go into it right now, but all the stuff of not listening to communities, the resectioning of districts, so we don't have good representation, so the community is losing its voice. It's just a common pattern that has built up over time, and people are saying, heck with this. They want to push back.
Yeah, it looks like there's a misrepresentation coming from the fiscal court, as well as not a lot of transparency.
No.
And that's what's getting people fired up. And I think another thing that's getting people confused is you hear about, oh, wait, I thought they ended the SRI.
Right. They recently just put out a new resolution that some individuals were quick to say, oh, they've canceled it. Here, peace in our times. No.
Right.
No. If you read the details, my understanding of it, they repealed the 2024 resolution of the SRI's public engagement portion.
Okay.
They repealed the PR piece.
Okay.
In an attempt, because they know how much of an issue this is, and they want to take it off the plate from being an election issue. The South Kenton Citizens Group put out for the primary the list of, if you support our issues, vote for these people, both sides of the aisle, vote for this, 100% resolved. Every single person they endorsed won. And so the powers that be understand, like, oops, we overplayed our hand, trying to take too much, and the people don't like that. And for me, that was the story of the primary on both sides of the aisle of the citizens of Kenton County want their voice and don't like to be told what to do.
Right.
They want to collaborate. They want to have development. They want to have growth, but they want to be a part of it. And they aren't being brought to the table.
Right. And it also depends on the type of development, right? Because I saw a lot of warehouse versus manufacturing facility. Warehouses take up more space. They employ less people. It drives more truck traffic, big truck traffic, more, infrastructure just because of that, versus manufacture, which employs more. Factories are usually smaller footprint, less truck traffic. They even have a graph and a number of, average trucks per day in and out. So it's not only is it development versus no development, but if there is development, it needs to be the right kind of development.
Sure. And particularly, there's always the looming threat of hyperscale data centers coming in.
Right. Now
and I've been watching, and just as a bit, like, I've been watching the South the South Kenton State Senator, Jay Gex, he's on the IT committees.
Yep.
That's his area. Hula Penn Water District is his area. I've been watching that water district. They've recently been raising their levels. They've been downplaying it, saying, "Oh, we need to do way more." Our candidate, Stella Collard's been watching it as well, and there are all the telltale signs that he is angle shooting to get a hyperscale data center somehow lined up down there.
Yep.
He's setting the foundations for it. So we always have to be on guard and watch out for that as well.
And talk about a facility that doesn't employ many people.
No,
Not at all.
Because my former IT background, you'd see these huge data centers. In fact, the company I worked for actually built one, and that was one of the services we provided. And they would have like 4 or 5 people manning that thing,
correct.
and 3 shifts, 24/7, but you're employing with management only a total of maybe 20, 25 people. And this was a pretty large data center. So again, we're back to the pitch of bringing jobs, keeping your kids here, because, to grow up here and stay here once they, get out of high school and college because there are jobs to do, doesn't really ring true when you're looking at some of the types of facilities and the true amount of jobs that could be generated from those.
Yeah. And it's the South Kenton Citizen Group in their own survey. They did say, okay, if we're going to have manufacturing, let's do it in these places. But in the whole SRI and their focus areas, they completely overran those. So they just cast it aside and used that little thing. They took their inch and went with it.
Give an inch, they take a mile.
Yep.
Plus.
And so it's just unfortunate because they talk about leadership and like, oh, we need to do planning. And that's true. We do need to do planning. We need to plan out so we don't have uncontrolled sprawl. We have sustainable roads.
Right.
All that's important.
Right.
But they didn't even conclude, like, that's the whole point of having conversations. Okay, we present an idea, get feedback. Okay, let's pivot. You know what you're saying. How about this? Does this work? None of that's taken place. And the leaderships have put out papers where their playbook is that what they did was announce a big announcement, capture all that furor, and have meetings where nothing can be bound and be held accountable, and let people spend all their energy and then try to get it out. But the South Kenton Citizen Group has kept up the march and kept up the energy of like, we aren't letting go of this site, and neither have I. So, and now
that citizen pushback.
I'm pushing it out to the rest of the Kenton County, talking to the whole Democratic Party. I got them coming up to the fair. I got all the candidates talking about it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's about relationships and just making sure, championing the voice, making sure that you're in the room where it happens, and that's what I'm trying to get to.
Seat at the table.
We're going to keep doing that. And thanks for coming to explain that to us, because I think there's a lot of things that people don't understand, especially with it's ending and things like that. Is there anything else you think you can let us know about these issues? Otherwise, we're going to have you back to talk about your campaign, because we want to talk about just about that. But anything else you want to add here?
I think the best thing is come out to the fair. It's a good time. Get some food, get some drinks, see the livestock, see the shows, see the 4-H. Come talk to the South Kenton Citizens Group. Get it from the horse's mouth.
Literally.
They have all sorts of giveaways that they're doing. They have a big map so you can put down where you are in the county and what they're talking to you. And then for more information, we'll catch that up in the next session. But come out to the fair this week, y'all.
So do you think he earned his corn dog and beer for this?
I think that's a corn dog and
no
beer.
L8, please. L8.
L8,
okay.
That's great.
True Kentuckian.
Yep.
My man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Ben, thanks a lot for joining us, man. We really appreciate it. And your insights are very valuable to us.
Glad to be here.
And to all of our listeners and viewers. Thank you again.
See y'all.
See y'all. Peace out.